Hi everybody and welcome. Do not adjust your sets. This is not Robbie, this is Laurie, his older brother, and I'm here to welcome you along to the inaugural Talk is Cheap show. Talk is Cheap is a show featuring my man Curtis, my main co-host here. And what we're going to be doing is each week we're going to be looking at matters of topical interest in the world of football, matters that relate to Arsenal, although not exclusively so. So we will be covering a wide range of subjects over the coming weeks. And what we're hoping is the show will be interactive. So we want you guys to comment and respond, and we can interact and chop it up together. We have to start on the subject that everybody's talking about at present, and that is the international break, most notably the England-Bulgaria game and the events what happened. Now, we all saw the appalling events of racism that took place, and we're going to talk about it. So, without any further ado, Curtis, what have you got to say about that? Right?
I mean, it's something we're seeing way too much. It seems to be like a trend in football at the moment, don't it? Every time something happens on the pitch, it's like racism's happening. And I think the main thing is, even though it happened in Bulgaria this week, it's a worldwide problem at the moment. We're seeing it in the Premier League. When Pogba's missing penalties, it's happening. It's just something that seems to have really come back to the surface. I think in terms of what happened the other night, I think England made a good stand against it. It was nice that the manager is back in the team. I think previous managers, as we said, they wouldn't have supported them as much as he did. But did they go far enough? Did they need to actually walk off the pitch to make the point? So, but it's good that they're fighting back. But you know, this free rule protocol is not good enough. You know, it shouldn't take 3 times for you to receive racism before something happens.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think maybe they should have walked off the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've got some very strong points on that, as people who know me will tell you that, you know, I've got some strong views on this first stuff. I mean, straight away, my thing is that with racism in football, I often think of football as a microcosm of life. So what tends to happen in sport is replicated in life. And I just think that the events we saw the other day are not just a football problem, it's a societal problem. But that being said, I mean, let's be honest, man, none of us are surprised at the events that took place the other day. And I feel that the time is now for the talking to stop and the action to begin. Personally, I was a bit disappointed that the team never came off, because I think that this has gone on for long enough now. I mean, where does this stop, man? I mean, you know, we're going to keep going over the same old ground. I mean, in preparation for this show, was looking at some stuff, and I never realised that the 3-step protocol that's currently in place has been out there for 10 years.
It's crazy, isn't it? And they're obviously not using it, are they?
No.
The thing is, I feel like racism doesn't affect UEFA. The people who run UEFA are what I would call like dinosaurs. You know, the guys who run the FA as well, you know. So when this is happening, they don't take the appropriate action to stop it. If they find, for example, Bulgaria, if they give them a heavy fine, close the stadium for a number of games, prosecute these people. To me, it's a criminal offence. If you do that in the street, the police can arrest you. So why is it protected inside a football stadium? But they're not doing that. So maybe the team does need to walk off the pitch. To wake up UEFA and say, look, we're not gonna accept it. And it needs to be one of the major nations who does it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, like I said, the reason why I think that this, I mean, first of all, this narrative that often gets put forward about, we stayed on the pitch and we showed them. What did you show them? You didn't show them anything. Because these guys, a lot of the guys that came to carry out that racial abuse, you saw them being carted out the stadium at half time, which tells me that they came specifically with one aim in mind, which was to racially abuse players. And when you do that, I mean, I just want to make the point that when you see racist abuse en masse like that against a group of black players or any black player, you're not just abusing a single black player. It goes way deeper than that. You're violating that person's human rights, but not just their human rights, it's their culture, their race, you know what I mean, their integrity as a people. So why should you stand by and let that happen? You know? So when people say to me as, oh, they did the right thing by finishing the game, we won 6-0, we showed the racists. I don't necessarily agree with that at all because, hey, that was Bulgaria. We're supposed to beat Bulgaria.
Yeah.
What if that had been Spain or Italy?
Yeah.
Both countries where they've had lots of problems with racist abuse. We're not going to beat them 6-0 realistically.
No.
In fact, it's highly likely that we would get beaten.
Yeah,
so then
possibly,
the racists then can switch the narrative and say, well, actually, we showed that we are superior to you because we beat you. So all this stuff about we stayed on the pitch and we showed them and we showed great character. I'm not in tune with that.
Yeah.
Your human rights, your integrity, your heritage, your culture, your race is being violated in a way.
Yeah.
You should turn around to those people and say, you know what? I'm not going to engage in this. I'm walking off and let UEFA deal with it. Now, the way UEFA should deal with it, listen, all these petty fines. I think Danny Rose a couple of months ago was saying that some of the money these countries are getting fined, he could spend on a night out in the town. Now, okay, the point was made rather clumsily, but I do agree with him. I do agree with the essence of his point. So my thing is, the only thing that's going to work is stadium bans, points being taken away, and ultimately people being eliminated from competitions. That's the only way it's going to stop.
And the thing is, like, for example, I've got young kids who are into football at home, and when they're watching that game with me, how do you explain that to them?
Absolutely.
You know, they're making monkey chants at you because your skin colour's darker. And the thing is, I think ultimately a player should not have to walk off the pitch. He is a professional footballer. If you go to a nightclub and a guy causes trouble, everyone doesn't leave the nightclub. It's the troublemakers kicked out. So they should deal with the problem. But because they're not, it's forcing the players that, okay, they're not dealing with the fans, so we're the ones who are going to have to take action. But until UEFA sort it out, it's something that's going to...
Having said that, don't you think that you do make a good point, but don't you think also the players then should take ownership of the problem?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, they're not being sufficiently backed up by UEFA.
Yeah.
So maybe some of the black players in particular need to really join together and say, look, we are going to make a stand on this once and for all. Yeah. Because I'll tell you now, once the first team does it, and that was why I was a little disappointed that England never done that, because can you imagine the effect that would have had
on everyone,
on everyone, had they have taken that bold step to say, we are coming off the... Even if it was only for half an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, that would have sent tremors around the footballing world, and that would have forced UEFA's hand and say, look, you know what, these guys are serious. But when we stayed on the pitch and we showed them, we won 6-0. I mean, I heard Tyrone Mings talking after the game, and listen, don't get me wrong, man, he spoke very well, he's very articulate, and I do hear what he's trying to say, but I don't agree with it. I think the time is now for action. I mean, listen, you played professional football. Did you ever suffer any racial abuse? And if you did, how did you deal with it?
I mean, there was comments. It wasn't direct racism, but it was like being stereotyped, if you like.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't receive it to the level that these guys are getting. But yeah, I feel for them, but I think, like you said, they do need to come together because they're responsible for the next generation.
Absolutely.
It's not going to change probably in our generation, but the ones who are coming up now, we don't want them to suffer what's going on at the moment. So yeah, I think unfortunately they are going to have to walk off the pitch. So.
I mean, the other thing I was thinking, I was watching that game and I was thinking to myself, you know what, this is really bad. Now, hypothetically speaking, let's say that was Jewish players that were being abused and they were being taunted by Nazi salutes and taunts about gas chambers and the Holocaust. Do you think that it would be taking 10 years to get to a 3-step protocol? No. I think that and they're quite rightly as well, they, you know what I mean, they would have taken more rigorous action to have this dealt with by now, and I just think now is the time. We've turned that corner. But fair play to Gareth Southgate.
100%.
Harry Kane, even Jordan Henderson. I saw the way he was going at that manager. And while we're at that guy, man, that Bulgarian,
saying he didn't hear it.
That was disgraceful, wasn't it? A scandal.
It doesn't affect them, so they're trying to brush it under the carpet.
He was a disgrace, man. I mean, I understand that the chairman of the Bulgarian Football Federation has resigned since.
I think
apparently he was asked to do. Apparently he was asked to step down by the Bulgarian Prime Minister. So Fair play to that.
That's it. So,
but that doesn't go far enough. The manager, to me, I mean, what would the stuff he was coming out with, saying that he never heard it and stuff like that.
They're just trying to protect their own, aren't they?
These guys, he's not just protecting their own, he's actually an enabler of racism.
Yeah.
To ignore it like that, you know.
100%.
So, yeah, man, let's hope that we've turned the corner and, you know, positive things happen from here on in. But listen, guys, let us know what you feel, man. Contact the show. Let us know how you feel. Should the England players have stayed on the pitch? Should they have walked off, as I believe they should have done?
Yeah,
what do you think UEFA should do with the likes of Bulgaria now? Should they be thrown out? Should points be taken away? What would you like to see happen? Let us know. We're interested. Give us some feedback on it. Thanks. Right, our second topic. The next topic we're going to talk about today is the topic concerning Mesut Özil and the culture of the fanboy. Now, this issue is probably the most talked about amongst Arsenal supporters currently, certainly since the days of Arsene Wenger, and is certainly the most polarising. Seems like every Arsenal fan has a view on Mesut Özil and what to do with him next. So we thought we would talk about it. We're going to let you have our views, and then hopefully you can come back to us and let us have your views. So, Curtis, Mesut Özil, what have you guys tell us about
Mr. Assist, Mr. Pre-assist, Mr. Fortnite, Mr. Badback, Mr. 350k a week. But look, overall, I think I can understand why people really like Mesut Özil. He came to us at a time when I think we needed a big name through the door. We needed a big money signing, and I think he started off well. I think at times he's been mismanaged, but ultimately, I think overall he's faded, especially in the last couple of years. Now, I know we've had a difficult time, and it's not easy, especially as a number 10, when your team's starting to lose more games, you're under more pressure. But I just think for the expectation, when I think back to players like Sanchez, how big an influence he was, Van Persie, as Ozil reached those levels, is he grabbed enough big games by the scruff of the neck and said, I'm better than every player in this team and I'm going to show it. And that's something I don't think ultimately he's done enough, and I think that's where the problem has come for him. That people feel like, you know, you see that Leicester performance last year, he was head and shoulders above anyone on that pitch, and you think, why can't he get near that level on a more consistent basis? You know, he's been at Arsenal, 5 or 6 years? We should be talking about one of the best players we've seen at the club in modern times. But to me, I'm seeing a guy who I think on his day is different class, but off his day he's non-existent. And I don't think he finds that balance often enough. Having said that, I don't think Emery necessarily gets the best out of him. People seem to think he hasn't had a chance under Emery. But the thing is, he started 20 league games last year out of 38, so he's playing over 50% of the league games, and I wouldn't say he had a good season last year, to be honest. 2 assists in the Premier League for the guy they call Mr. Assist. I don't think 2 assists is enough, especially when you've got Lacazette Player of the Season and Aubameyang Golden Boot winner in front of him. So I think he's got to do more, and you know, I think that's why he's in a difficult position at the moment.
I mean, for me, the Mesut Ozil situation is one big conundrum. I mean, listen, the guy is, nobody can deny the guy's talents. However, we've got to keep it real, man, and say that he's displayed those talents few and far between since he's... and for me, I mean, I must admit, listen, man, I'm going to nail my colours to the mast. I think Ozil's time has come and gone at the club. And, you know, I was outside whereby Robbie was filming a couple of weeks ago after the Bournemouth game, and there were some heated debates going on amongst the fans. People getting stuck into it, everyone was taking a side. And I really don't see why Ozil gets that much love from the fanboys, man, because I don't think his performances on the pitch in any way warrant that or justify that. I just don't see it. I mean, listen, how many games has Ozil taken by the scruff of the neck that you can say, boy, man,
10. 15.
I don't even think it's that, man. I mean, he's had a couple of half decent games, but he's just not produced on a consistent level.
Certainly in the recent times, the last couple of years, we just haven't seen enough from him.
No.
You think back to the Europa League final as well. Not just the fact that he played bad because the team didn't play well, but his whole attitude.
Yeah, for me that was a watershed moment.
Yeah.
That Europa League final was a watershed moment. Here was another big game. The stage was set for Ozil to come and do his thing.
Yeah.
And he failed miserably. And listen, I'm not going to hate on the guy exclusively.
No, of course not.
There were a number of guys that didn't turn up that day. But the problem is Ozil is our best paid player by some distance. He's supposed to be this mercurial talent. He should be our go-to man.
Yeah.
And his performance that day was tepid in the extreme.
To say the least, yeah.
Right? And what did it for me is when he got substituted, the way he carried on was disgraceful, man. And I just thought, given all the other things that's happened, you know, some of the on-the-day pull-outs of games, bad backs and all sorts of stuff going on. And I just think that the manager, like a lot of the fans, not the fanboys, the fans, I've just had enough and said, you know what, this guy's had his time.
Yeah.
And to be fair to the manager, he's trying to push the young guys through, gives them their chance. And I think Ozil is collateral damage for that. Yeah. And I really think that his time has come and gone, man.
And the thing is, people say don't talk about the money he's on, but the money he's on will have an effect on how he's treated. The club are not going to allow him to be a bit part player. And that's what Emery seems to be making him. He doesn't feel like he can back him because he's not consistent enough. So you then reach a point where you say you either start him and play him or you move him on. And I think that's why he's trying to freeze him out at the moment. Yeah. And sometimes when a player isn't in the team, people seem to think he would make the difference.
Yeah, it's almost like when you're out the team, you can become a better player.
Hector Bellerin, you know, the fans have been against him for a long time. He's been injured for a year and, I can't wait till Hector's back. Yeah. You know, and because we're not creating loads of chances, everyone thinks, well, you know what, if Ozil played, it would all be different. But
listen, the guy's got creativity in him. However, we're not seeing that creativity when he plays.
No.
So my message to those fans who are consistently going on Emery's back about he needs to play, is that when he is playing, he's not producing. Yeah. And the manager is trying to get a tune out of the players. He's trying to do the best he can for the team. We're not here to support Mesut Özil. You're here to support the
Arsenal,
club. Surely you'd want the best for the club. If he's not performing, then I'm sorry, he shouldn't play. No. You know, and listen, I've got some receipts here, man. Let's just go through Ozil's stats this season, briefly. Arsenal have played 8 Premier League games this season. Of those 8 games, Ozil's played in just 2 of them. He's been an unused substitute in another 2 of those games, and he's not even been in the squad in 4 games. I mean, so come on, man. And then last season, he got 2 assists. Now, in my opinion, and I'm going to close on this, I just don't think Mesut Özil has the physical or mental attributes for this league. He's the kind of guy that will go elsewhere, in my opinion, and do well. Yeah. Because, like I said at the outset, he's a talented player. Well, I just don't feel he's got the mental and physical attributes that are required of this league, and I think that he's come to his end of his time at Arsenal, and it's time for him to be moved on. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, for me, like you said, undoubted talent. There's no doubt about that. I think we were lucky to get him, but I don't think overall we've seen enough from him. I don't think at the moment we've got the midfield behind him to get the best out of him, because when you've got a guy in that 10 role, you need a really strong midfield behind that. I don't think we've got that, and I think, maybe if his time is to go to a different league and try something else, but
okay. Well, so we wrapped up that. So you guys, we want your opinions. Are we Mesut Özil hating because we think he should be moved on? Do you think he should stay? Do you think he should go? Do you think the manager should move him on? Let us know your thoughts, man. Write in, email us in, let us know what you think, and we'll respond to your feedback next time around. Topic number 3. It's another hot topic amongst the Arsenal fans. Is Unai Emery the man for the job? Yes or no? My man Curtis, what are you saying, man?
I think at the moment I'm a little bit in between. Right. I think I can see good things with what he's doing, but also I think when you become Arsenal manager, I think we're we're a club that demands a certain style of football. Certainly under Wenger we became that club, and I think that's really ingrained in us now. And I think this manager has to have some understanding of that. It is a results business, and we are third in the league at the moment, so there's reason to be optimistic. But with the attacking players we've got, you know, the likes of Pepe, Aubameyang, Lacazette, why are we not playing on the front foot more and playing more attacking football? I mean, we've played 8 Premier League games this season and we've conceded 11.
Right.
So we're not defending brilliant. You're setting us up quite defensive, Emery, but we're still not defending great. So why not just say, you know what, I haven't got the defence. I haven't got the midfield to protect that defence. Let me work on the strength of this team, which is our attack. Let's be an attacking team.
But to play devil's advocate on that,
go on.
To be fair to Unai Emery, I mean, previously, before he arrived, and even since he's come, we've been accused of being too soft, a bit of a pushover. We concede too much goals. What he has sought to do in his time here, in particular this season, is to try and tighten up at the back and to be more pragmatic. So it comes down to, do you want pleasure over pragmatism? You know,
I think I think at the top level you can get both.
You really do.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you got to look at. I mean, Aubameyang cost 56 million, Lacazette 50 million, and Pepe 70 million. If you've got 3 players of that kind of quality and that kind of price tag, why should we not expect to see attacking football, especially at home against lower opposition? I mean, we went to that Bournemouth game the other week, and you know, I was yawning at half time. You know, it wasn't enjoyable to watch. We started the game so well on the front foot, and then when it was like he just said, "Well, put the handbrakes on." Even with 20 minutes to go, it's as if he said, "Oh, 1-0, we'll go home with that." But if they equalise, I know they didn't on that day, but against better opposition, that could have come back to haunt him. So I just don't.
I was also on that as well. I was slightly disappointed, actually more than slightly disappointed with the United performance. Actually, when we went away to United the other day, I mean, that is a poor United team,
and we didn't,
and in the worst shape in terms of confidence that they've been in a long, long time. And we went there. Okay, you know, our record there is not great.
No.
But we had a little momentum going into that game, and I thought that they were there for the taking, and we didn't take it, man. I mean,
and they had injuries that day.
They had injuries, man. We should have gone for it a bit more. Say it with your chest, you know what I mean? But we didn't lose, and you know, we have been rolled over there in the past, and I'm kind of I'm erring on the side that we should give him a bit more time, man, because I do think that he's trying to get things right. And yes, our playing style is a bit up and down. I mean, a lot of people say to me, and I do agree with it, is that under Emery we don't appear to have a clear identity in the way we want to play.
Not at all.
But it's still fairly young into his tenure. I mean, we understand that he's got a 3-year contract, or 2 year with the option of a further year. He's had the first year. There were some good points in that last year, especially the 21 game unbeaten run.
The end of the season was disappointing.
Yeah, he got us to the Europa League, and then we tailed off quite miserably towards the end of the season, culminating in that woeful 4-1 defeat.
I mean, Chelsea. Is he waiting for the fullbacks to come back as well? You know, we've effectively had no fullbacks for the past 12 months. We've had Ainsley at right back, and Kolasinac, I don't think is up to it. So I really hope when they come back and Holding comes back, Lacazette comes back, that will hopefully give us that impetus for him to be more positive.
Sure.
Long term, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You know, honestly, the way he finishes this season will dictate it. I'm not even certain that if he gets top 4, he's the right man to take us forward.
Yeah, quite a few fans have been saying that. But listen, I would have thought his remit at the start of the season would be a minimum Champions League football. Now, at the moment, you know,
we're in position
for that. We've only lost the 1 game. Okay, we haven't set it on fire yet, but it's only 8 games, man.
What I would say, I think as a fan base, we need to be positive. You know, if you watch some of the interviews, there's a lot of negativity, and I think that doesn't help.
No.
You know, whether you think he's the right man or not, he's our manager. If he does well, ultimately Arsenal do well. So let's get behind him, support him till the end of the season, and hopefully the style of football will improve as the season goes on.
Okay, thanks for that. So there you go. You've heard what we think. I personally think he should be given more time. Curtis is not so convinced, and I'm sure a lot of the fans are not so convinced. But let us know what you guys think. Do you believe in him? Do you think he should be given more time? And what do you think of his supposed pragmatism over pleasure? What do you think? Let us know. Topic number 4, what we're going to look at is the situation at Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, have the wheels fallen off? Curtis, what are you saying, my man?
I think the wheels, they fell off a long time ago, didn't they? Sometime last season.
I'm so saddened by that.
Well, look, I'm quite happy with the situation that's going on over there naturally, but I think it just shows how big a problem that Manchester United have got. They've got no real style of play at the moment. I don't see a manager with authority over there. I think they kind of sold themselves a little bit when they got Mourinho. They thought, let's just win at all costs. But long term, that didn't work. So they've gone for the younger manager, the manager that the fans will back. But there's a lot of big characters in there. You could argue that Pogba as a player is bigger than Solskjaer as a manager.
Yeah, I would say.
So I don't think he can really control that dressing room when things are going wrong. And I think that's the problem at the moment. They let go Lukaku and Sanchez in the summer now. No matter what people say about Lukaku and banter him off, he scores goals no matter where he goes. You cannot let a player of that quality go and not replace it, and they didn't do that. So I think Ed Woodward really is selling that club short at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I agree with you. I mean, listen, I think it's clear for everyone to see now that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he took over back in 2018, he took over on this wave of emotion.
Yeah.
He came in when the club was at a real low.
Yeah.
And initially he enjoyed some really good success, and everyone was like, give him the job. But those of us who are a little bit more longer term thinking, we're looking at what he'd done in the past, in particularly at Cardiff, and thinking,
is he
really the man for the job?
Yeah.
Fast forward to this season, they've had their worst start for I think it's about 30 years. They've only had 2 wins all season, and they've looked poor in pretty much every game they've played, apart from the Chelsea game, which a lot of people say they were fortunate to win that game, certainly 4-0, even if you say they won it, but you know what I'm saying. So it's not looking great for them right now, man. And I'm not sure if this guy's the man to turn it around.
No.
Hence the title, wheels have fallen off.
Yeah, the wheels are definitely falling off, but I mean, there's a lot of individual quality in that side. No matter what people think, you look at that Man United team, the Pogbas, De Gea's, Martial, there's some great players there, but they need the right manager who can glue it all together, and I just don't think this is the right guy. And obviously Pogba wants out. It doesn't help when your best player wants to leave the club, so I think they've got some dark days ahead this season.
Do you think he's got it within him to turn it around? Or do you think he's pretty much
I think
in an
it's more if
position?
the players turn it around.
Yeah.
If Pogba fancies it for the next 6 months and he gets on it, because he's a match winner.
Yes.
So I don't think Ole can actually do much to change things there. He's got to sort of hope they play for him.
Yeah.
And hope they react, and maybe if they can strengthen in January.
Okay, thanks for that. So, people out there, do you think like we do that the wheels have completely fallen off under Ole's wheel and he's about to go, or soon to go? What do you think? Do you think he can turn it around? Or do you think his position at the club is basically untenable? Again, let us know. Final topic for the week is what we call our ops for the week. Our ops is opposition, for those of you not aware of the street term, and we're basically just going to look at our next game and give some thoughts on what we think. Now, our next game is a pretty difficult game actually. Sheffield United, away from home on that proverbial cold Monday night up north. So, my man Curtis, what are you saying, man?
It's never an easy place to go, Sheffield United, and the manager they've got, Chris Wilder, he's very old school.
He is.
He's going to make it difficult. You saw when Liverpool went there, I think they only beat them 1-0.
Yeah.
And it was a mistake from the goalkeeper. Yeah, they struggled to break them down. So this is where Emery's going to have to go there and be positive, because
say it with your chest, man.
Say it with your chest. You can't. Then Monday nights up north, if it's raining, it's going to be hard. You've got to impose yourself on the game.
Absolutely.
If we can get an early goal, you calm them all down. If we go there and we don't take control of the game, they're going to get their backs up. They're going to be up for it.
So that first 10, 15, 20 minutes,
when the fans are rocking, they're going to be up for it.
It's going to be a difficult game. I mean, is this the kind of game that you put Ozil in from the start?
I mean, typically looking at it, you would say don't
no.
bring him anywhere near this game. But it's a tough one, isn't it? Because, you know, when we're not creating chances and he's within your squad, maybe he should be there to come up. Well, maybe he won't be. It'll be interesting whether he picks him.
I mean, listen, the last time I remember this game from 2006, I was supposed to actually go to the game and I couldn't. I had to give the ticket to my son, and he went up there. And it was, again, that cold night up north. We ended up losing 1-0.
Yeah.
And I just hope that's not the same this week.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I think one thing Emery has given us is a bit more fight and backbone. I think we've got a few stronger players there.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's no reason. We're the favourites. We're the better team. If we go there and play well, I think we'll beat them at the end of the day.
So. I'm encouraged by... there is some green shoots of recovery in what Emery's trying to do.
Yeah.
We are a bit more resilient.
Yeah.
And I think this game coming off the back of the international break, I think the players, I'm pretty sure they'll be up for it.
Yeah.
They'll want to make a statement. That Monday night game, even though it's a Monday night game, it's a big game, it's live on Sky.
Yeah.
The whole football world will be watching, and I think that the guys will turn up and do a job. So I'm going for... We might concede, but I fancy us to come through either 2-1 or 3-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 3-1. You never really expect a clean sheet away from home with Arsenal, do you? But I think we'll get goals there. A lot of our players haven't been on international duty as well, like Lacazette, David Luiz.
And that's the other thing, Lacazette's, we're hearing, might be back for this game.
Well, we need him back.
We do need him back. Tierney
possibly
could feature.
Holding as well.
Yeah, I'm encouraged.
So I'm encouraged, I think we'll beat them. We have to beat them.
And if we get some energy in from the young guys who are coming through, I think that will stand us in good stead.
Yeah, definitely.
But this will most definitely be a testing game. So let's see how we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us guys know what you think. We think we will overcome and get the win, but let us know what you guys think. Okay, so we've come to the end of the first Talk is Cheap show. We hope you enjoyed the show. It's very much a work in progress, but what we want you guys to do now is to interact with us. Send us your comments, send us any topics you want us to talk about. We want to start some polls on some of the things that we've talked about today, so by all means let us know what you think about the likes of the racism, the Ozil situation, Unai Emery, and even Man United. Let us know what you think. Do you agree with us or not? You might have your own thoughts, so keep in touch. Let us know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, and last but by no means least, big up my man Curtis, man.
Thanks,
in the house. Respect.
Yeah.
Enough love. So we'll see you again next week. In the meantime, keep it real.